What's up, everyone? It's been so long since I posted to this channel, but I'm finally back, and today I really wanted to talk about the season 4 balance changes that are going to come with the new character Yasmin. But specifically, I wanted to talk about how that relates to Aki, or more specifically, what I think Aki really desperately needs this season. I think she has really struggled this season, and I don't think it's because of any nerfs or anything, but more so, a lot of the cast has been power crept, and it's really fucked up her worst matchups. And also, um, she still suffers from some pretty bad weaknesses, and it's weaknesses that I don't think are necessarily intentional. My first issue with Aki is I really need them to fix her inconsistencies. She is so inconsistent in so many ways in her combo structure. Okay, so for example, Aki's heavy whip is actually really inconsistent sometimes. So normally one thing you do for like a jab combo is just like this. And that should work. It works most of the time, but there are crazy times where it will just drop. To show you the kind of inconsistency I'm talking about, I need you to take a look at this clip from my local that I went to just this week.
Okay, entry jump low. Nice.
Oh,
Viper special.
that was a good bait.
Pressure's so
Now we go to
good.
the corner.
Probably even could have gotten something off that neutral jump there. Oh, the challenge.
Oh,
Bro, this happens pretty regularly. It's not every game, but it is every few games that this kind of thing happens. I need you to understand just how small the spacing is for this to happen. It's actually really hard to get it to happen in a training mode setting. So for right now, if I do it, the third jab is just going to whiff. And, that sucks, but that's just kind of how it works. You can't have 100% consistent jabs, otherwise you would end up with like jab infinites. But if I tap just slightly, this happens. Nope, even then I couldn't get it.
3 hours later.
There we go. So you see how small that gap is? There is no way to eyeball this to see whether that is going to whiff and then change your mind to a medium. It's not possible. It is pure guesswork. What I'm thinking they need to do is to add a combo-only hitbox to this that extends just slightly further, so that way she can get this combo consistently and not have that crazy drop happen. One of Aki's biggest issues is one that I actually think is pretty unacceptable in the age of patches, and that is combo inconsistency. What I just showed you is just one example, but here's another one. A common combo that Aki gets off of counter hit jab is something that goes like this. Now, oftentimes, you're going to go into level 3 after this, and of course, that's going to work. Right there. But sometimes there's a very specific range where this combo will just drop and you will lose 3 bars of gauge. This one happens even more common than the last inconsistency I showed you. It's actually pretty easy to have this happen. Between block strings, spacing, it is very easy for this to just fuck up and you are out 3 bars of drive. Another example of level 3 just dropping is in this punish counter combo, which Aki will often go for. What's crazy about this one to me is that her ability to chain from crouching jab into her standing jab target combo was created specifically to deal with her combo inconsistencies. And yet, all of the areas where her combos were inconsistent prior to that patch are still the exact same areas that are inconsistent now. And this can easily be fixed with another combo-specific hitbox. Her level 3 could easily extend just a tiny bit further and have a hitbox that only works if the opponent is in a combo. This would fix so many of her inconsistencies, as most of them revolve around level 3. The next buff I want to talk about goes to Aki's medium whip. Capcom has buffed this move quite a lot in the past, and for the most part, I think they've succeeded, especially at making it a better anti-air. Its startup has been significantly reduced, which has made it way more consistent and way easier to use as one. However, there's one very niche thing that makes it kinda weak in specific matchups, which is why I have Akuma here as our little test dummy. If Aki tries to anti-air a character using an air fireball, if the whip passes through the fireball, it completely nullifies the attack's hitbox, which makes the whip pass straight through the opponent and leaves Aki vulnerable to a punish counter. This makes her already terrible matchup with Akuma even worse. I think the solution to this is to just make Medium Whip beat the Fireball clean and hit the opponent. This would only really affect her in a handful of matchups like Ingrid and Akuma, and I guess Dhalsim, although the startup on his Fireball is so low that it's very rare that a collision actually happens. I don't think this is going to make her shoot up the tier list and be stupidly overpowerful. I just think it's going to make one of her worst matchups just a little bit more tolerable. The next buff I want to discuss is pretty small, but it is one that I feel is weird that they haven't changed yet, and that's to her bubble follow-up. If the opponent blocks the bubble but gets hit by the follow-up and isn't poisoned, you're actually minus on hit for some reason. I feel like this could be changed by making this a 0 or even +1. I feel like I should be able to act first if I land this, especially because oftentimes this will hit as a counter hit, and even then, you're -2. The next buff I want for Aki goes to her level 2. This thing is kind of ass. First of all, the damage is not high. 2600 is not high at all. It's 2664 once you count the poison, but that's still very low. On top of that, she often loses damage in combos like juggles. It will go down to something like 2200. It's definitely not a good level 2. On top of that, it has absolutely no invincibility of any sort. It seems like it's designed to be an anti-fireball tool, but in most matchups, it's just not viable as one. That was me doing it at the earliest possible frame, knowing that that fireball was going to happen. Most of the time, you're going to react way later. Something like this. I feel like these issues could be solved by either doing one of two things. Either make the damage higher and more consistent on combos, so that way it's more worth going for, or you can make it projectile invincible, because it would then be a much more useful counter in matchups such as the Akuma matchup or the Guile matchup, and even the JP matchup. The next buff I'd like to suggest for her is for her EX Whip. Her EX Whip will often lose to EX projectiles in a really goofy interaction. I don't think there's any other interaction in the game like this. If the move passed through the opponent harmlessly, I honestly think it would still be fine. It's just that this is really bad in last-minute situations and can lose you the game sometimes. So that's going to do it for the video today. I tried to keep these changes really conservative because I do worry that power creep could make this character ridiculous. Now, I personally would love that, but I also don't want to be, you know, a total Aki partisan for this video, right? I'm really glad to be back doing videos again. I don't think I'm going to ever be a really consistent uploader. This is just a hobby for me, but I'm really loving this game again. I was not fucking with Season 2 in any way, and Season 3 really brought me back, so I will hopefully be uploading more consistently, and when I get a second monitor, I am going to try and stream. With that said, guys, I hope you liked this video, and I hope you liked the suggestion. If you had any more Aki suggestions, leave them in the comments below. And that's going to be the end of the video. See you guys.